Yamo Gola Kisi, Shima Gola, Shima Kisi, Top Moon set, the T Guinea, Wazin Nan set, Family 2, Hotiman, Dino Khan, Kisi Kunda, Kunda. I am from the Gullah. I am from the Geechee. I am Gullah Geechee.
Gullah, a culture, a people rich in history. Like all descendants of Africans whom survived the Middle Passage, its people are scattered across the country. However, a large population of its people have settled right here in the Low Country. In fact, the Gullah Geechee Heritage Corridor, which expands from Wilmington, North Carolina, to Jacksonville, Florida, has the most densely populated Gullah population in the entire United States. A people with its own distinct language, belief system, food, and music.
You know, people are often thinking that, you know, culture is all about going to the opera and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Culture is not. Culture is about, you know, what kind of food you eat, you know, what kind of hair you have, what kind of living you do, what kind of loving you do, what kind of raising the children do you do, what kind of educations you do, what kind of everything. Culture is all about everything that we do, all the folk ways, everything that we do. That's all culture.
Anything 2 or 3 people create in terms of language, and foods, religion, ways to see life and death, right? The great beyond. Anything that a group of people, even a small group, 2 or 3 people create that impacts how they see life and death, the environment in which they live, language, geographic relations, how close, you know, these people may be to other people, all those things.
We, Father, within in heaven, let everybody honor your name. We pray that soon you're gonna rule over the world. What's a benting with ya, that every day so in this world. Same like them in heaven. Give we the food what we need this day, yeah, and every day. Forgive we for we sin. Same like we forgive them people what do bad to we. Let them do something had test when Satan try we. Keep we from evil. Gullah Bible, Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 through 13. The art of the Gullah Geechee consists of basket weaving, quilting, paintings, and sculpting. Gullah Geechee people have always used natural resources such as indigo and other natural dyes to draw inspiration for art. Along with religion, music has played an intricate part in the foundation of Gullah Geechee culture. In particular, the Gullah Geechee ring shouters have educated and entertained spiritually through music. And the spirit of African American music, the ring shouters have influenced spiritual, jazz, R&B, and hip-hop as well as gospel.
Gullah Geechee people are African people who have come to this area, who were brought to this area. We're the only African people in the entire United States who have a distinct culture. So again, that when you begin to look at the people, you're looking at people who bring, as I say, part of the tapestry of America. Is part of the richest part is tied to us. Gullah Geechee people, again, African people who come from the western part of Africa, the central part, and even smaller numbers coming from the eastern part of Africa. So again, as I tell folks, when you look at us, you're looking at a myriad of African people. A lot of times folks try to say, pinpoint us to say Sierra Leone or going to say Angola. You tell folks no, that when you look at from Mauritania on down, those African people who have kept a number of African traditions. But that's what I'm going to share people. Many times when people look at Gullah Geechee people, there's those African people along the coast of southern North Carolina on down to St. Augustine, Florida. They tend to go and say that we're the only ones with the culture. But I tell folks, no, when you come into this area, because we have kept a number of African traditions alive, you can come into this area, use this as a template, and then go back into your own areas. The foodways, the spirituality with regards to the oldest African performance traditions in the country, the oldest African rhythm in the entire country. Here, part of Gullah Geechee culture. So again, we look at, as we tell people, we are the living link to Africa, as Queen Quet has put it. We're also the soul, I tell people, we're the soul of the U.S.
When you look at the African culture and you look at the Gullah people, and especially in Liberty County, Georgia, it has been said that the black people of Liberty County, Georgia are the most African of the people of Georgia because of less mixing of the races. With that, then you mean that the practices that were common in Africa are still being done here. The food that was in Africa are still being prepared here. You mentioned herbs. Like right above you there is Spanish moss. The Spanish moss is a herb that can be used, or that is used in the culture as a treatment for high blood pressure. You wear it in your shoe. One of the common herbs that most people are familiar with is sassafras. Sassafras is a herb that I took as a child in the spring of the year as a tonic. It is a belief, and that was brought across on the Middle Passage, that in the winter your blood thickens. Okay, to help thin your blood in the spring, you would drink the sassafras, who would help thin. The reason why your blood would thicken is because that would help keep you warm. If your blood is thick in the summertime when it's really warm, then you'll be overheated. The Gullah people continue using more of the practices that were originated in Africa, from religion to food to language to music. And anything that has preserved, a lot of people want to say that the first blacks got here in 1619. If that's the case, then why did we have our first black revolution, or first black revolt, in 1526 in the Georgetown area? So we have actually been here almost 500 years. So why let that die now? This is a very important part of this nation.
From Lorenzo Down Turner, the father of Gullah Geechee studies, to Queen Quet, chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation, the history and culture preservation lives on. In Cornelia Walker Bailey's book, God, Dr. Buzzard, and the Bolito Man, she states the following: "My first reaction was, some of us were educated early on, far earlier than we had been given credit for. You see yourself according to what is told to you, and the myth was that none of the Africans had any education at all. From the viewpoint of us that slave masters passed down, you could almost believe that our lives started once we reached the shores. Then I felt proud. It was a good feeling to know that my ancestors could read and write and had left a record of it. A good feeling to see proof that we came here with a history and a culture of our own."
One, by breathing, I'm able to share what I've learned, what I've lived, from the baskets to the gathering of roots that you can use into medicine, to not forgetting the ancestors who came before us, to acknowledge who they are, where they've been, and where they want us to go.
You are keepers of the culture.
Yes,
you know, you must be keepers of the culture, because that's the whole point of us doing it. Because if we were just doing it for us, we could stop. You know, we could have been traveling to Africa. We could have been traveling wherever we wanted to go. We didn't have to be here at Geechee Kunda. You know, Geechee Kunda is a place where we really want our young people to really understand you have a stake in this, and you must be a keeper of the culture.
I think for one thing, you have to resolve to not die with the legacy that you were born into, okay? And secondly, I think we have to know the importance of redemptive activity. In other words, we have to be mindful of what our ancestors had to endure just to give us an opportunity, and it certainly damn sure wasn't just so we can pass the Cavassier and celebrate. Okay, I think that we have to realize the importance that we actually owe somebody a whole lot.
Unless we have places like Gitche Kunda or the historical places or the people of South Carolina or the historical corridor, then it's going to be lost. It will be another lost culture that will disappear almost like the dinosaurs did in America.
If you don't carry on some part of our culture, your life is almost undone. Our people have been through. They need to be out there letting someone know that, yes, I'm still here. This was done to me. And they're so proud when we are doing something positive about them. They're absolutely proud.
It's imperative that we make sure we teach our daughters and sons that this is a foundational part of who you are, a part of your earliest experience in North America. It's who you are.